For many African American men traveling the world, one of the first stops they may want to check out is Colombia. It's right next to the United States, and it gives a more in-depth experience than maybe Mexico. The food, the weather, depending on where you go, and the culture of Colombia is really, really hard to beat, especially the price. And oh, by the way, the Colombian women are not that bad. Actually, they're very good. With Afro-Latinas and white Colombian women, black men have a lot to choose from. And oh, it's affordable with great infrastructures, especially in its bigger cities like Medellin and Bogotá. Let's stop the show. But Colombia has a dark side. A side that, well, we need to really look into. A lot of black men have died in Colombia. I've made many videos about it. But men in general are being targeted in Colombia.
I got robbed in Colombia. I'm going to tell you a quick story of how I got robbed in Colombia. So I was staying in Bogotá in a place called Hyacinth, which is meant to be a pretty safe place. And I'd just been to the 24-hour shop close by to buy some cereal and some soy milk for the next morning. I was walking back to my Airbnb, just crossed over the road, approached a corner, and these three guys just lurked out from the corner. I didn't think anything of it, just carried on walking towards them. As I got very close to them, like this close, they all just pulled out knives. I'm not talking about little tiny knives, I'm talking about knives like little machetes, like 12 inches or something, about the size of my cock. And the black guy, the tallest one, put it to my belly, and I just knew what was happening. They just ransacked me, almost pulled my kicks down. They were trying to get the stuff out of my pockets. And then he just sprinted off into the darkness. It all happened so fast in the space of about 30 seconds, I reckon. So just be careful in Colombia if you ever go.
Not just him. This black man was in Colombia. He was enjoying himself when something strange happened.
This girl, she walked past me. She had this piece of paper, right? And she kind of like walked past me and threw this paper up, like, you know, just a little bit. Granted, I didn't smell nothing. I seen maybe a powder, like a slight powdery substance. Wasn't a very lot, and I'm pretty sure it got her just like it got me, whatever it was. Now, I'm not saying it was scope, but I'm saying it might have been scope. Essentially at that point, you know, she did a walk by, then she went, you know, walked past me, and then she went back up, and then they started coming down, like four of them. They started walking down towards me. At this time, my Colombian friends, they get me up out of there. They, you know, they take detours to make sure they can't follow us. We go up this little walkway that goes over the main road that you can kind of walk up and go above the main road. They take me different places. Now, throughout this whole time, I'm stuck in my head, and it's not fear. I could not speak unless I was spoken to. Like, my friends would ask me different stuff, like, and sometimes I just couldn't speak. I was like, it was like I was just thinking. I was trying to talk, but it's like I'm only thinking it in my head. My legs started getting really heavy, and then from that point on, I started, you know, like my legs were just heavy, but I just kept, you know, moving and just moving, and you know, just, you know, I'm like, hey, you know, I gotta get up.
Luckily, he had some Colombian friends that was there to assist him. Otherwise, he'd be a victim too. In both cases, these men lived to tell their story. Unfortunately, the man I'm going to be talking to right now did not. His name was Omar Watson. He was 31 years old. He was an entrepreneur and an avid traveler. He wasn't what we would consider our typical passport bro who hangs out in Thailand or DR or Colombia. This was a guy who has been all over the world. He's been to Japan, he's been to Brazil, Mexico, and France. He was on his way to Portugal when he wanted to stop by Colombia. He was leaving New York City, going into Colombia when he promised his lovely mother that he was going to contact her as soon as he arrived in Bogotá, Colombia. That should have been on February 24th. The problem is, on February 25th, he landed February 24th, called his mom, everything's good. February 25th, everything is good. Third day, everything's good. But the fourth day, the phone rung. No answer. She calls again. No answer. February 29th, she hasn't heard from her son for 2 days. Then we find out Omar Watson was found dead in his bathroom. Now, his American passport was on a wooden dresser near the apartment. But guess what? His phone, iPad, and wallet had vanished. So his mother, Hyacinth Watson, for 5 months was trying to get answers. Now imagine, your son dies or daughter dies in a different country, and basically you're trying to call a country that doesn't speak English. You know, you have so many language barriers and so many obstacles for the answers. Almost 6 months later, she finds out why her son allegedly died. The reason they gave: interlobular pulmonary thromboembolism, associated with right deep vein thrombosis, and determined his cause of death was natural. Now get this, the forensic investigator ruled out. Now basically, if you don't know, DVT, or deep vein thrombosis, develops when a blood clot forms in the leg. A clot breaks off and travels to the lung, and it cuts off the blood flow. But 6 months for autopsy, and guess what? There were no tests done to see if there were any toxicological things, alcohol deaths, psychopharmacological tests. Nothing happened. Now again, I covered a story about this young lady that was black that went to the UK for a BBL surgery. She died in Turkey, but this is what happened afterwards.
Leanne was refused access to Cadell's body. When it was finally returned to the UK, more devastating news was to come. To their horror, a coroner here told them that large parts of Cadell's organs, including her brain and heart, had been removed.
When they returned her body, they'd kept pieces of her heart and her intestines.
How hard was that to hear?
Baby, I don't think it was allowed, but they said it's legal. They can take what they want. I thought you'd have to ask at least permission from family before you took anything, but they sent a death certificate straight away and just put no, there's not even a cause.
You heard it right. All of her organs, a lot of her organs, half the brain, things were missing. Just completely gone. And the government of Turkey said, well, we didn't do it. Just lying. Let me just tell you guys something about traveling to these places. And of course, there is foul play. And we gotta be clear of that. But guys, you need to understand when you're going into these places, there's some things that you gotta know before you go. Shout out to my boy Aaron Ferris, BMT. He actually recommends that guys take this when they're out in Colombia.
You know, I have it on my person. At times I might have it in my little shoulder bag or whatnot. Let me see, where is that? Let me put this up right here. Some of you guys might be on it, some of you guys might not be. Okay. I know some of my police officer guys and some of my military guys might know what this is. All right, this is what they call activated charcoal. Activated charcoal basically soaks up poisons in your stomach. Okay? Soaks up poisons in your stomach. Now, this could be activated charcoal is crucial if you suspect you've been drugged, particularly with substances like scopolamine, which is known for its dangerous use in certain regions to incapacitate. I can't pronounce the word. Victims. Activated charcoal can absorb some toxins and reduce their effects if taken promptly, potentially giving you more time to seek help. And that's the main play. That's the main play. All right. All right. If you use this activated charcoal, like I said, I keep some on me personally. What up, Black Man Travels? You gotta pull up one day, man. You know, Skylar kind of got on you. But shout out to my man, Black Man Travels. Say, just got back from Cali, Colombia. If you want to do a show, you want to pull up, you can pull up. Yeah, they got me on that one. But yeah, activated charcoal, I carry it on me. I think I told my man Jay Clyde about this earlier. This could possibly save your life, believe it or not, bro. Like I said, if I plan on going out doing some drinking, especially if I'm dolo out there in Medellin, I go out dolo sometimes. I have this on me right here. You know, help soak up all the liquors and stuff like that. It could give you that time you need to kind of either get out of the situation or get them out of your home.
Activated charcoal. This is 520 milligrams per serving. Traditional absorbent. This is something that you can take before or after you feel like you've been drugged, and this will help fight off people trying to do bad things to you. This is what happened to the brother in Brazil. Some lady came in, drugged him. He was only there for 24 hours. He died. Want to let you guys know something. A lot of Americans are going to Colombia, especially a lot of African American men, simply because it's cheap and the women are beautiful and there's a good quality of life. But if you're dealing with chicks on Tinder, if you're letting women come into your house, if you're doing any of that stuff and you mess around and you get drugged and something happens to you, you can forget about it. I have lived overseas for a decade now. And do you know what, man? Hey, it's scary to know that if something happens, I'm not in the States. It might be hard to find out what happened or what's happening with me. So you got to play it safe when you live in other places, man. When I lived in Poland, I lived in Europe, I could walk outside 24 hours a day, man. I had no fears or nothing. I can go to the grocery store anytime I got ready. It's very, very safe. But I can't do that here. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things I can't do. I'm in someone's country, and it's not safe as you would want to think. And you come from the States and you think that, hey, I'm a man, I'm healthy, ain't nobody gonna try to test me, man. Hey, you better watch yourself, man. You don't know what people have. So when you're going over to these places, you can, yes, enjoy yourself, but you need to link up with a few brothers or a few people. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to a place you've never been before, Bogotá, Medellin, reach out to some of these brothers in these groups. Reach out to BMT Live. Like I said, you in DR, Ronan the Traveler, those guys, and find out how you can move, man. Find out what you can do to keep yourself safe, because we don't need young black men, 31 years old, passing away. Some brothers have gotten robbed and shot in Colombia. So guys, man, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do to protect yourself, okay? It's not about you scared or anything or what may happen, but you need to protect yourself at all times. Remember, you are going into a different nation and you have people that's dependent on you. If you're a young man, 31, 40 something years old, 50 something years old, hey, your family should be dependent on you when you, as your family getting older, to help them out. They shouldn't have to, bury you because you went to another country. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shirley Jackson, back at it again with another episode of Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.